Hey guys, welcome back to Installation 00. Today we've got something special lined up. Myself and EckhartsLadder have collaborated and produced some content for each other's channel. So if you haven't already, get over to his channel and show him some love. He's got some awesome content on Halo, Star Wars and various other sci-fi subjects. I've been subscribed for a long time and you should too. So I've created a most detailed breakdown of the Pillar of Autumn for his channel, link is in the description, and he has produced a breakdown for the Valiant class super heavy cruiser for my channel. So I'm now going to shut the hell up and hand you over to him. We'll speak again at the end of the video. Take it away, Justin.
Hey guys, this is Justin from the YouTube channel EckhartsLadder. In case you don't know me, I make Star Wars, Halo, and sci-fi content, and am super impressed with what I've been seeing from Installation 00. This channel goes super in-depth to Halo lore, and personally as a fan, I've really been enjoying it. I'm lucky enough to have a guest spot on this channel today, but if you're missing your standard Installation 00 content, you can go over to my channel, which now has available to you all a 30-minute plus video on the UNSC Pillar of Autumn. Today, however, we'll be talking about the Valiant Super Heavy Cruiser. Roll the intro. The capital ships of the United Nations Space Command are often seen, but not fully discussed, at least in mainstream Halo lore. We know, of course, that there are various capital ship classes, subclasses, and ship types, but discussion of specifics is usually reserved for source books, secondary sources, or just totally left to our imaginations. On that note, the model and scenes used for today's video, while approximating canon, actually come from the excellent Halo mod Sins of the Prophets, which I'll link below. Regardless, we know that pre-Covenant War UNSC ships were made up largely of what I'd classify as three ship classes: frigates and destroyers, cruisers, and command ships. The vessel we'll be looking at today uniquely occupies both the command ship and cruiser category, while being the largest subtype of the latter. Let me elaborate. Halo Warfleet explains that the UNSC has always been a carrier-heavy navy, and that massive supercarriers almost always were used to command major fleets. Super heavy carriers like the Epoch used their massive MAC guns and thick hulls to dominate space combat, then deployed fighters and transports as needed. Supercarriers worked especially well in expeditionary fleets, where they could facilitate a full-scale ground invasion while also leading a fleet in space. Cruisers, alternatively, were more specialized. They typically served in conjunction with frigates as the main damage-dealing platforms within a battle group. While some, like the Marathon, did serve as command ships, especially as the war progressed, that was more a reality of wartime scarcity rather than a specific design choice. And the Valiant class, as it was first envisioned, would have been essentially the ultimate role ship. The firepower and heavy armor of a cruiser, specialized and thus without the carrying capacity and thus extra size and cost of a supercarrier. Singularly, a Valiant would not be a game-changing ship like the UNSC Infinity or a similarly positioned pre-war battleship. Rather, it would have brought efficient firepower and sturdiness needed to supplement any UNSC fleet, with a tonnage above all other cruisers. However, as Halo Waypoint explains, though the cruiser's initial designs were promising, cost issues threatened to derail production of the ship line. However, the United Nations Space Command, facing a lack of true command vessels, decided to modify the Valiant into a purpose-built command ship. Some existing Valiant frames were augmented by huge advanced command suites, as well as state-of-the-art sensor packages, basically maintaining the ship's purpose while adding on extra functionality. However, these upgrades were very expensive, so the entire surplus of Valiant frames could not be modified. And I say frames, but it's actually unclear whether the non-modified Valiants were otherwise completed and battle-capable, or whether they were in their early stages of construction. I think the latter is more likely, given the fact that it was these command upgrades which essentially saved the line. So when it comes to specifications, we don't know many hard numbers, but these ships are super practical, especially in the context of the Human Covenant War. Pound for pound, a Valiant would most likely be a better pure combat vessel than a UNSC supercarrier, due to the higher degree of specialization. The trade-off is an inability to host the assets for a ground campaign, but so long as the ship is used correctly, i.e. defensively, or in cases where a ground campaign isn't needed, that's not really an issue. Speaking of used correctly, that takes us to the most famous Valiant, the UNSC Everest, flagship of Preston Cole, who described the super heavy cruiser as a supremely fine ship. If you know the man, that is high praise. That being said, as a brief note, Cole did make some little upgrades to the Valiant, and it would have been interesting to see basically a second variant of the ship. Maybe call it the Everest class supercruiser, sort of like we got with the Halcyon and the Autumn class post-war. Anyway, under Cole's command, the Valiant was successful in not only ship-to-ship combat, but in fleet coordination, as we saw at the Battle of Harvest, where Cole commanded 39 other ships, and the Battle of Sci Serpentis, where he commanded over 150. The latter battle, the final of Preston Cole's career, is one of the most famous naval engagements in UNSC history. The Everest showed the benefits of a powerful but reasonably sized capital ship. She helped destroy capital ships conventionally. Her hull took a beating from Covenant plasma weapons, but she also nimbly drew Covenant ships across the battle, close enough to a nearby gas giant, which Preston Cole attacked with 100 nuclear missiles, causing it to go nova, wiping out over 300 Covenant ships. By this point, it was rare for the UNSC to win battles and almost unheard of for them to do so without actually having a crazy number advantage. Cole's victory very well may have been impossible had he commanded a less well-armored ship, like the Marathon, or a larger, less practical vessel, like the Punic. That's why, in my opinion, the Valiant has a perfect role within the UNSC Navy. What's more, there are rumors that Preston Cole and the Everest itself may have actually survived the battle. That, however, doesn't really matter to me. What does matter is that if the class was good enough for one of the greatest naval minds in UNSC history, it's certainly good enough for me. And that is where I leave my breakdown of the Valiant class super heavy cruiser. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like for this video, consider checking out my channel and subscribing, and also check out the video Installation 00 did on the UNSC Pillar of Autumn. It's much longer, it's very in detail, and it's a great watch. There will be a link to that, of course, down in the description. Anyway, as always guys, this has been your host, EckhartsLadder. Until next time, have a great day, and may the Force be with you.
And may the Force be with you, Eckhart. Thanks for watching this collab between myself and EckhartsLadder. Again, if you haven't already, get over to his channel and show him some love. Also, don't forget to go and watch my most detailed breakdown of the Pillar of Autumn over on his channel. Link is in the description and should be on one of the title cards on screen right about now. Take care everyone, and find peace in the domain.